As we discussed earlier, it's more than just photos when it comes to the LRO. It also contains a certain instrument which calls into question past Apollo experiments. But it seems the propagandists have found a way to dodge all of this. Astrobrand released a response to my earlier video in which we compare the Apollo laser retroreflectors to LRO's Lunar Orbiter laser altimeter. The first minute or so of his video is unfounded and immature cheap shots. Yet somehow, he has a problem with Renee calling his detractors gas bags? Undisciplined behaviour is common in all of Astrobrand's videos, so I'll skip past all that. In addition to the photos, there are various other oddities concerning the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. In addition to the high-resolution camera used to take these pictures, LRO also carries an instrument known as Lunar Orbiter Laser Altimeter, or LOLA. Basically, it fires a laser repeatedly which bounces off the lunar surface and back at LRO, thus allowing the satellite to make a 3D topographic map by measuring the time it takes for the laser pulses to return. Hold on a second. I thought you needed a retroreflector to do that.
You didn't really think that. You're just trying to make your viewers believe that your opponents have claimed that.
Oh, am I? Well then how do you explain this statement from Red Zero, one of my opponents?
There is a reflecting prism there that acts like a mirror, placed by Apollo astronauts. Now, if there was nothing at that point but rock, that would be the last you would see of your laser.
That's what I responded to. The website is currently down, but to this day, it is still endorsed and linked to on God only knows how many pro-Apollo sites, including Tony Phillips's Science at NASA article, The Great Moon Hoax. I have no need to make my viewers believe anything regarding what my opponents have claimed. All I need do is show them what they have claimed and prove why it is wrong. The good old folks from MoonMovie.com were kind enough to point me in the direction of the December 1966 issue of National Geographic. In this issue, one comes across an article entitled The Laser's Bright Magic, written by Thomas Molloy. On page 876, Molloy states,
4 years ago, a ruby laser considerably smaller than those now available shot a series of pulses at the moon, 240,000 miles away. The beams illuminated a spot less than 2 miles in diameter and were reflected back to Earth with enough strength to be measured by ultra-sensitive electronic equipment.
The New York Times also carried an article about bouncing lasers off the moon, long predating Apollo 11. In the November 5th, 1963 printing, we find a tiny article entitled Soviet Bounces Light Beam Off Moon in a Laser Test. A concentrated beam of light has been bounced off the moon and detected on Earth by a Soviet observatory in Crimea. The feat, reported today by TASS, the Soviet press agency, duplicates an experiment conducted late last year by engineers of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. The super-intensive beam was produced by a laser, a device that amplifies and focuses light. The principle is believed to have potential use in space communications and long-distance energy transmission. The Soviet announcement said that a laser had been installed at the focal point of the 100-inch reflector telescope at the Crimean Astrophysical Observatory. Understandably, not a single propagandist from any pro-NASA website makes any mention of this documented fact. Instead, they all insist that, quote,
If there was nothing at that point but rock, that would be the last you would see of your laser.
Now let me see, which of the logical fallacies is it this time? Ah yes, the straw man. An argument based on misrepresentation of an opponent's position. That's so you can look so much smarter by debunking it.
If Astrobrand wants to see who's making straw man arguments, he best look in the mirror. The logical fallacy in this video by Astrobrand is the exact same straw man that he made in his Halo video. The pattern is essentially this. A propagandist makes a false claim. A conspiracy theorist proves the claim is false. The propagandist denies ever making that false claim, and then tries to pin it on the conspiracy theorist who proved him wrong. If it's not bad enough that Astrobrand misrepresents his opponent's position, to try and cling to the straw man he's created, he misrepresents his ally's position. In my video, I showed a clip from the Mythbusters Moon Hoax special, in which they make the exact same erroneous claim as Red Zero. Astrobrand claims, "This equipment is designed to detect light reflected from the retroreflectors, not the surface." Now I've heard everything. If it's not designed to detect lasers off the moon, why not just state that to start with, and why claim instead,
as expected, the lunar regolith, with its reflectivity index or albedo of approximately 8%, simply scatters the beam, and the sensors back here at the observatory detect no reflected light.
How about this statement?
So we're shining the laser on the lunar highlands now, and we're getting nothing back except background light.
I contacted Dr. Macmillan to ask what she meant by background light, and she told me,
background light can mean a combination of sunlight reflected from the lunar surface, stray light from inside the dome, or laser light which is scattered off the internal optics or electronic noise in our detector. When the moon phase is such that there is sunlight on the landing site, which was true for the Apollo 15 landing site when the Mythbusters episode was filmed, then the sunlight on the lunar surface is easily the strongest source of background light. The other sources are only significant if the landing site is in darkness, and then the combined background light level is much lower.
So, the equipment is not designed to pick up laser light bouncing off the moon's bare surface, yet it can pick up moonshine, laser light scattered within the optics, and various other indirect forms of light? Give me a break. Astrobrand goes on to distort Adam Savage's statement.
Perhaps you're getting confused by, or trying to confuse others with, this guy's statement.
Now the only way that could happen is if there was a piece of man-made equipment up on the moon to reflect them back.
So, Jera, I hope that you're not claiming that this portion of Mythbusters is saying that it's impossible to pick up reflections off the surface of the moon. It is only saying that when we aim the laser towards some random section of the moon's surface, we get static.
No, what it's saying is that when they bounce the laser at any random section on the moon's surface scatters the beam, and the equipment detects no reflections, but instead background light from elsewhere in space. This is another fine example of Astrobrand's quoting out of context.